The Babai Rebellion. When mystics challenged an empire in the early 13th century, as the Seljuk Sultanate of Rum stood at the height of its power in Anatolia, a charismatic mystic named Baba Ishaq emerged from the shadows of history to lead one of the most dramatic popular uprisings the Islamic world had ever seen. This is the story of the Babai Rebellion, a movement that shook the foundations of the Seljuk state and revealed the deep fractures within medieval Anatolian society. The world of 13th century Anatolia. To understand the Babai Rebellion, we must first understand the world that gave birth to it. The Seljuk Sultanate of Rum had established itself as the dominant power in Anatolia after the Battle of Manzikert in 1071. By the early 1200s, under sultans like Kayqubad I, the Sultanate was experiencing a golden age, building magnificent caravanserais, mosques and madrasas across the land. But beneath this veneer of prosperity, tensions simmered. The Mongol threat loomed on the eastern horizon. Waves of Turkmen nomads fleeing Mongol advances poured into Anatolia, straining resources and social structures. These nomadic groups found themselves marginalized by the increasingly urbanized and Persianized Seljuk elite, who viewed them as uncouth and dangerous. Enter Baba Ishaq. Into this volatile mix stepped Baba Ishaq, also known as Baba Rasul. Little is known about his early life, but by the 1230s, he had established himself as a spiritual leader among the Turkmen tribes of central Anatolia. Baba Ishaq was no ordinary preacher. He combined elements of Sufi mysticism, Shia Islam and possibly pre-Islamic Turkish shamanic traditions into a potent, spiritual cocktail that resonated deeply with the marginalized Turkmen population. His followers called him Baba, Father, and believed he possessed miraculous powers. According to contemporary sources, Baba Ishaq claimed to be a prophet, or at least a divinely inspired leader. He preached a message of social justice, criticizing the wealthy Seljuk elite and promising his followers a more equitable society. In many ways, his movement represented not just a religious uprising, but a class revolt, the nomadic poor against the urban rich, the marginalized against the establishment. The spark of rebellion in 1240, the simmering discontent exploded into open rebellion. The exact trigger remains debated by historians, but it's clear that Baba Ishaq's growing influence had alarmed the Seljuk authorities. Sultan Khusro II, who had recently ascended to the throne, saw the movement as a direct threat to his authority. The rebellion began in the region around Amasya in north-central Anatolia. Baba Ishaq's followers, numbering in the tens of thousands according to some sources, rose up against Seljuk garrisons and tax collectors. What made this rebellion particularly dangerous was its religious fervor. The Babaites, as they came to be known, fought with the conviction that they were waging a holy war, not just against unjust rulers, but for a divine cause. The spread and suppression. The rebellion spread like wildfire across central and eastern Anatolia. Turkmen tribes that had long chafed under Seljuk rule rallied to Baba Ishaq's banner. The rebels attacked cities, seized fortresses, and defeated several Seljuk military detachments sent against them. The Seljuk state, initially caught off guard, mobilized its full military might. The Sultan dispatched his most capable commanders with large armies to crush the revolt. The decisive battle came near Kırşehir, where Seljuk forces finally cornered the main rebel army. Despite their religious fervor, the Babaites were no match for the professional Seljuk military. The battle was a massacre. Thousands of rebels were killed, and Baba Ishaq himself was captured and executed. According to some accounts, he was crucified as a warning to others who might challenge the Sultan's authority. The aftermath and legacy, but killing Baba Ishaq did not kill his movement. The rebellion had revealed the deep social and religious fault lines in Anatolian society. Remnants of the Babaite movement persisted for years, and similar uprisings would erupt periodically throughout the 13th century. The Babai Rebellion had profound consequences for the Seljuk Sultanate. It weakened the state militarily and financially at precisely the wrong moment, just as the Mongols were preparing their own invasion of Anatolia. In 1243, just 3 years after the Babai Rebellion, the Mongols decisively defeated the Seljuks at the Battle of Kosedar, effectively ending Seljuk independence. Some historians argue that the resources expended crushing the Babai Rebellion left the Seljuks vulnerable to the Mongol onslaught. Others point out that the rebellion exposed the brittleness of Seljuk power and the lack of popular support for the dynasty when it faced its greatest test. Historical significance. The Babai Rebellion represents a fascinating moment in medieval Islamic history. It shows us that the Islamic world of the Middle Ages was not monolithic, but riven with social, economic, and religious conflicts. The rebellion was simultaneously a religious movement, a social revolt, and an ethnic conflict between nomadic Turkmen and the Persianized urban elite. It also reminds us of the power of charismatic religious leadership to mobilize the masses. Baba Ishaq tapped into genuine grievances, economic exploitation, cultural marginalization, and spiritual hunger, and channeled them into a movement that, for a brief moment, threatened to overthrow one of the most powerful states in the Islamic world. Today, the Babai Rebellion is remembered as a precursor to other mystical and heterodox movements in Anatolian history, including the later Alevi tradition. It stands as a testament to the complex, often turbulent process by which Anatolia was transformed from a Byzantine Christian land into the Turkish and Islamic region we know today. A process driven not just by sultans and armies, but by mystics, nomads, and rebels like Baba Ishaq.